Hey, today I am just starting off today's prep with these concentric circles that I decided I wanted to paint white. I had put the pink and the blue on my spread and they were cute, they were really cute, but because we were wearing red and white in our pictures, I decided that white with some glitter would be really lovely. So I decided to use gesso with some acrylic paint. And I also used some of the Dino Wakley glossy spray paint as well to kind of get them as white as possible. So I'm doing a few coats. So this part of the video is just me trying to get them as white as possible and layering on the paint as thickly as possible. Now, mind you, when I was finished, I remembered that I could have used a white stamp ink pad, and I believe that would have been a much easier process, just a few coats of stamping my white stamp ink pad on it, and the acrylic, it would have been a lot less wet because my chipboard ended up being wet, and I lost a layer or two in the process, but it did look fine. The spread came out fine. I did layer these on acetate, so it was fine. But just a tip for anybody wanting to try it. Perhaps if you have a white stamp ink or something close to white, like the Cascade from Ali Edwards or the Picket Fence from Tim Holtz, those are what I have. It would be nice. And I'm thinking as well that I probably could have also used one of my metallic inks from Ali Edwards, the platinum or gold or whatnot, just depending on what color you'd like. But that's just a tip. I do like how this came out. It does feel just kind of heavy duty white. I allowed these to dry before I continued with this spread. So these layers were just really helpful in getting it to be white, and I kind of just pulled out all my white paints and layer and layer and layer until I got the coverage that I wanted. And once I got the coverage that I wanted for this spread, I continued by dipping them into the glitter while it was still wet. But then I decided to add some glue along the rim, and I just spread it on with some paintbrush, and I dipped it in the glitter again. So this would be what my final circle would look like. I layered them onto some baking paper just so that they won't stick to the paper. And so this is the final rings, and I'm just going to show you briefly what it would look like if I just put some stamp ink on there. The coverage is pretty okay for the first layer, and I'm sure if I went in and did a few other layers, they would be just great and dry very quickly. So just an easier process. So pulling those aside, I wanted to now find, that's the acetate that I'm using. It's kind of like a plastic paper, so very thick. And I also pulled out some circles from this circle kit. I thought that would look really cute. And I cut some photos down to 3-inch circles. So I laid it out on Canva, probably a little over 3 inches, just depending on because I didn't want it to cut too exact. Sometimes when you print it too exact, you get some edges, but with the thickness of some of the circles, it was well covered. And then I'm just gonna layer these out to frame our faces but not be on our faces, and that was very important to me because I wanted it to also look like the circles were framing our faces. So I'm just gonna have a play with some different orientations of the circles and just deciding where to put which one. So the process did take a bit of time, but it came together quickly for me. There were quite a few things that I wanted to add as well. So for this lesson with product play, the latest lesson, so the last lesson for product play with Ali Edwards, she did a mobile. And so initially I thought I was going to do a mobile for this page, but I just love these concentric circles so much that I completely forgot about that when I started creating. And so I just ended up with this page with the circles as an overlay to the back picture, and having these photos popped into some of the concentric circles. And I also have my journaling in these circles, and then I layer the die cuts and whatnot over it to get the final spread. Now this spread is actually an introduction to the story of the day, which was the family interviews on the following page. Now we did this photo shoot for the family interviews, and I really enjoyed just using some of the products, like the messy circles, to create prompts for these interviews. So most loved snacks, best Christmas memory, those kinds of things. I do have a reel on Instagram with how that spread came together. I used the checkered paper from is it either the main kit or the, I believe it's the extra paper pack, and I would show you on the end how it looks and how they both look together. But this is really, yeah, how I decided I'm gonna place these photos down, and then just playing around to see which ones work best where. For some, the frame was thick, so it covered a portion of our faces a bit too much for my liking. So that would probably be why I moved a couple, or it may have been too small, for example, for the bigger frame. For the bigger frame, the 3 inches falls right inside the photo, with just probably 1/8 inch space all around. And for the medium circle, it is pretty much exact, as well as the smaller circles. So I do have a 3-inch punch, which worked pretty well for this, thankfully. But yeah, I'm just sticking the photos to the frames, and then I'm sticking them to the plastic paper. And this process was pretty straightforward. I do use some clear tacky glue, stick these down, and they did quite well. I find that the glue tape is a bit difficult for chipboard, and also for the round, for circle shapes and whatnot. It's doable, just a bit trickier. So this is quite easy for me. I have some fast grab and turbo tacky glue, and I really love this version where it faces downward. I think it's called Always Ready. So that works well for me. And once these things are all stuck in place, the circles, photos, and journaling, I go ahead and I can start the beautiful process of adding die cuts and stickers and whatnot to frame the frames. So that is really nice. I just am making sure that the photo paper and the rings are down firmly on the acetate, because it does take a while to dry because of the plastic nature of the acetate. But once it's done firmly, it stays in place. So just delicately pressing that down as well, and considering that it is rock candy crusted, I am just being very delicate with that. It's really a beautiful glitter to work with, by the way, and I really love how it came out. So yeah, this is the last photo that I'm sticking into position. I like that I got the faces snug, I'm toying with whether I want to place that super cute red polka dot acetate under the circle, but I decided against it, and I decided to just use the die cuts instead, with the additions of some items from my stash, snowflakes, bows, some Christmas trees. So now I'm just playing around with a couple things. I've left the footage here just so that you can get an idea of some options that you may like or prefer. And I do enjoy just playing around with my products and having fun with them, and so just clustering, choosing which Santa to use. You know, I pulled out some concentric circles from last year. I forgot that I had that white one from last year's chipboard circles, and so this I end up using a smaller one, Merry and Bright. But I also wanted to use some wood veneers. I pull out some trees and whatnot, and I just had a lovely play around with all the items that I could think of that was small enough to frame the circle. So playing around with the gifts, the joy, the fa la 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 la, the words, I was feeling like if the lights or the wreaths would be nice to kind of connect some of these circles, but then I felt it was a bit too yeah, I really liked it, but I wasn't sure. So I just ended up pulling that out. And then, yeah, once I've lined everything up and I was satisfied, I just began to glue everything into place. And at this point, I'm just like, Nolana, commit to the spread, commit to the layout. Let's just, you know, glue everything down and call it done. So I loved adding words on words. At some point I thought it was a bit too wordy, but then I added in some icons like the puffy stickers and whatnot. I added them with some foam dots to get some layering and some height in there. So once I add those into place, I really love, you know, having let's start the season on the wreath and some Santa. He looks very fun. And just playing with the gift, making sure it doesn't cover anybody's face. And so I also wanted to add in some of these chipboard trees, which I really love as well, and just kind of choosing which tree I thought would go best with this spread, and keeping in mind that I do have on Christmas tree novelty glasses. So yeah, I'm always a fan of a snowflake on every or any spread, even though we live in a tropical Christmas area, but snowflakes are the cutest for me. So please don't mind me while I add all these snowflakes to my spreads. And then so just playing with the glue dots raised and flat and some of the foam stickers to just get everything into place. And once those things are all aligned, this spread will be well and truly complete. I start pulling out some other things from my stash, some of my go-to items like those gold stars from Felicity Jane. They're a bit wonky stars, and I continue just adding layers until I'm satisfied with how it looks, and until I tell myself, you know, let's call it, you know. So I love this fa la 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 la, fa la la. I also love a cute white bow. I add foam stickers behind both sides of that bow to give it some lift. And yeah, I'm just playing around and adhering these die cuts until all the circles look complete. I end up adding some wood veneer. I'm just looking for opportunities to add texture. So this is really what the opening page of my story number 2 looks like, and I am really happy that you have joined me for this video. I do hope that you've enjoyed this process. I do want to wish you all the very best of this December daily documenting season. I hope that it is so much fun for you and bringing you joy. I always say it's supposed to be fun. If you're not having fun, step away, take a break, come back, have fun. Um, but I really, really enjoy the beauty and the magic of this season, and I am here to embrace everything. So I'm really happy that I was able to document this story of my mom and us doing a photo shoot, taking pictures in our matching Christmas outfits before she returned to Trinidad. She was here visiting us for a few months and helping with my baby, and it was sad that she couldn't stay for the season, but we wanted to have a little bit of Christmas before she left. And so this is the spread that documents that. So thank you so very much for joining me here today, and hope to see you next time.